Hello everyone and welcome to episode 144 of the TEW 2020 New Japan Pro Wrestling series here on the channel. As of course, this is part 1 of 2, as it is the G1 Climax, a incredibly long summer tour that of course will have to be broken up into 2 parts here on the channel, as it has been for the past couple of years that we've been in this save. As far as I want to say, we started doing the double part around either the second or third one we did, I want to say. It definitely was whenever we added 4 blocks. But as far as, my God, what a tournament we have, though. 40 of some of the best competitors in the world battling it out throughout the summer. And a lot of things at stake here. Of course, every champion has that big target on their back. As far as you lose here, you have to have a title matchup later on. And of course, for Sonata, he's got some big words to back up if he's wanting to, far as shoving the G1 Climax, the trophy, and I'm assuming that flag that you get to wave at the end too, right up Tanahashi's ass. As far as if he can somehow, some way overcome those odds. And even, as far as Tanahashi, maybe he will even stack the deck. Who knows? Maybe he'll stoop to even that low. You never know. As for this episode, before we get into the actual blocks itself and whatnot, I do have to say, before we start, I rest in peace to Sid Udy, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid Justice, the fucking man himself. My God, as far as one of only 5 guys, the only main event, not only WrestleMania but Starrcade, a guy that if you had to build a big nasty heel, just an absolute shit kicker of a heel, it'd be him. Top 5 or of all time. It just, as far as a guy that just got the business. He really, especially from the American professional wrestling standpoint, from a television standpoint, I mean, goddamn, the motherfucker was so over. Especially the run he had from 96 until his unfortunate injury. He had a solid 4 or 5 years where he was arguably one of the most over talents in the States. And, I mean, everywhere he went, WCW, WWF, ECW, Japan, whenever he would do tours over there, when he was, as far as sparingly, he didn't go over as much as I would have hoped. That would have been awesome. When he started in Memphis as Lord Humongous, what a gimmick though, as far as, Mad Max style with the Jason Hockey mask. As far as that run, even though he was very, very green, still very impressionable guy. Has probably the greatest squash match of all time, him and Lee Scott, 1989, as far as was on the Saturday show. It's on YouTube if you've never seen it. It's literally a thing of beauty. As far as from Sid's perspective, the guy just, I mean, you have somebody. I always said he was kind of the blueprint for what a big man in the wrestling business should strive to be. You don't need a lot of moves. You just need a choke slam, a power bomb, and as far as a connection with the crowd that not a lot of guys had. When you're in a program with Hogan, when you have a program with Shawn Michaels, and the crowd is cheering you more than them, and you're the heel, shows you how over he was. And a guy that was also, and for his size, Devin never really heard him complain about putting somebody over or anything like that. Was always, what's unfortunate about Sid is kind of now what I've seen kind of recently since his passing was just kind of like that article that is, I get what they were saying, but at the same time, it's like, basically the title, if you didn't see it, the title of the article, Sid, the best bad wrestler. Sid doesn't need to wrestle like a Dean Malenko, or as far as, or Bryan Danielson. That's just not what he needed to do. That is not what made Sid Sid, and it would have took away everything that made him. He's a guy that didn't need to do all that shit. He didn't need to be one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. He was a 6'9", made of granite, absolute killing machine in there, and that's exactly what he needed to be. And yet he still, as a heel, sure, you could be your big vicious heel and be an absolute shit kicker, but he was also, again, so over because, again, the times have changed. The mid 90s was turning into the anti-establishment and turning anti-heroes into heroes, and he was definitely somebody that the people got behind. And also, as far as just for him, it's kind of crazy to think that a lot of what has been kind of negatively talked about him, the Arn Anderson incident, that I get. That was very crazy, and that could have ended very, very badly. That could have been as worse as it could have gotten for him. But luckily, nobody was seriously injured. There was injuries for sure, my God. But it could have been a lot worse. But a lot of people, as far as kind of look at maybe the goofs of what he would do in promos, as far as, or even him leaving midway through the summer sometimes in different organizations because he wanted to play softball. And it's like, listen, from a talent perspective, if that's what you want to do, hey, go for it, man. If you want to take the summer off, you want to go play softball, that's fine by me. Just the American Wrestling bookers of the time just did not give him a schedule that I think that should have benefited him. And that is kind of more of a what Brock had done, where you see him sparingly, you use him in a manner of more of a special attraction than so a normal guy on the roster you're going to see every week. That just was not what he was going to do. You knew he was going to get burned out. You knew he was going to want to play softball. And hey, you let him go. You know it's fucking softball season. You know what he's going to do. It's not like it's a surprise to anybody, And sure, will there be times where he missed towns because he didn't feel good or he didn't want to go to the town? I get it, man. I get it. The wrestling business, it sucks as far as from a schedule perspective. And as far as it sucks that you have to kind of sometimes treat talent differently. But when you're somebody of his caliber, you kind of have to make an exception, I think, because for the betterment of your product, you're going to make money with the guy. And it just kind of sucks that people kind of focus more on that so than what he was, and that is an incredible act that was a one-of-one talent, truly a one-of-one talent. They don't grow on trees, talents like Sid. A guy that has the intensity, the guy that has the charisma, and the guy, and it's not even like a charisma like like a traditional kind of charisma. Motherfucker was out of his mind, but it was awesome, and it was perfect for what he was doing and what he was trying to do. And yet sometimes, even hilariously, obviously the Goldberg shit in WCW, incredible stuff from an entertainment perspective. And even there's an angle on I want to say it's either late '99 or it's 2000 WCW, where Nash and Hall are backstage with Sid. In Nash is in a Vince McMahon disguise, and Sid is full on as far as believing that he is talking to Vince McMahon. And it's an incredible segment. Literally halfway through the segment, Nash has to, flip the mask up and be like, hey man, it's me. it's Kevin. Just incredible stuff. To be able to do that type of comedy shit and also be an awesome shit kicking big son of a bitch that has incredible intensity and incredible aura. You can't really buy that. You can't, especially for like today's wrestling. Oh my god, what any major promotion, whether it's AEW or WWE or even as far as it over in Japan or in Mexico, it's CMLL or AAA. I mean, to have a talent like that is 6'9", that looks like that, and can wrestle like that to put a match together with a lot of these guys are now a lot more smaller than what they were then 20 years ago. Jesus Christ. I mean, this is exactly the type of business that would be so simple to book for a Sid Vicious. It's a shame, really. It's a shame to lose a talent like that, especially at kind of a young age, man. I mean, 63 is pretty young, as far as it's not, as far as, sure, a big bucket of win to be able to be a grandparent, to live your life to where you could have your golden years, be enjoyable watching your kids and your kids. Well, that's what life's all about at the end of the day. But as far as still, very, very sad to see the passing of Sid Vicious. Because, I mean, really, he's a guy that, a lot of people have kind of said is the litmus test for a lot of, like, do you get wrestling or do you not get wrestling, as far as what your thoughts on Sid. And it really is just simply, if you viewed Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid Justice, those runs in kind of a negative light of what he was doing, I just can't trust your opinion on what you value in professional wrestling, because this motherfucker, again, what mattered the most, putting fucking asses in seats, and what had people coming wanting to see top stars. He was one of those guys. In one of the hottest points of the business, against some of the hottest acts in professional wrestling. Can't say anything more than big Sid guy, and it just kind of saddens me that there's now even a time where people are still trying to take away how great he was. Just makes me upset. But I wanted to get that off my chest because Sid Udy fucking ruled. But now, on to the G1 Climax here for this episode of TEW, as far as into the New Japan Pro Wrestling Series here in 2028, or 4 blocks, as far as 10 men for each block, of course, for the 38th G1 Climax. We have Barbaro Cavanero starting it off, Jay White, Leona Fujinami, Konosuke Takeshita, Pentagon Jr., Ryu Lee, Shitora Shino, The Great Okan, the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion and the U.S. Champion in Tyler Black, and then Zack Sabre Jr. So we have former United Empire members in The Great Okan and Zack Sabre Jr. in the same block. You have, of course, the Kingdom of Torture member, Jay White, a Diamond Gang member, Konosuke Takeshita, a Task Force Death member, Pentagon Jr., Bomb Squad member, Ryu Lee, Suzuki-gun member of Ashino, and now, Monstars U member in the Great Okan, of course, House of Black for Tyler Black, and of course, United Empire for Zack Sabre Jr., and even for Peace, Love, and War for Barbaro Cavanero. And then Fujinami, more of a young lion, or about the young lion, a Lion Mark member of the roster, kind of just your traditional babyface. And, I mean, yeah, this block is kind of crazy. Pentagon Jr. Ryu Lee rules. Shitora Shino and Tyler Black's going to be a great matchup. Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be a great matchup. Konosuke Takeshita, of course, involved in some big-time matches. Jay White and Tyler Black's a fun match. Kind of guys from two different ends of kind of the spectrum of what, as far as their paths and their careers. Of course, Tyler Black making his way up through the Indies, getting signed by WWE and being there for now almost 15 years. For Jay White, of course, being a young lion in Japan, working his way up, being the top fucking gaijin in New Japan, and now obviously in the States with AEW. But this is, that's a phenomenal block. Because it really is, even though the IWGP Heavyweight Champion and the IWGP US Champion, double champ, Tyler Black, is in this block, I wouldn't say he's the foregone conclusion of winning this block. As far as for him, there are so many guys that are very, very talented. Former champions involved as well, as far as from that regard, with Shitora Shino and Jay White. But, you have, and Konosuke Takeshita, as far as, that even future champions as well. Ryu Lee, of course, also former champ, Zack Sabre Jr., but, Ryu Lee could definitely be a former champion, or a future champion, rather, excuse me. Pentagon Jr. could be a future champion, even. The Great Okan could be a future champion. So much talent involved there for Block A. And of course, that's kicking off the show as well, as far as kicking off this tournament with Block A. For Block B, Daniel Makabe, the IWGP Intercontinental Champion, Hayata Tomorrow, Hook, Jon Moxley, Kazuchika Okada, Keith Lee, Kota Umeda, Miro, Shota Umino, and Yota Tsuji. So, of course, a big matchup, and Jon Moxley and Shota Umino, father and son, battling it out there. Okada and Moxley, fun match there. As far as Miro and Keith Lee, the Monstars U teammates, going to be battling it out. Hook being involved in this. He's got some big time matches on the horizon for sure. Yota Tsuji, of course, of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Having 2 Task Force Death members and 2 Monstars U members involved, and also Diamond K and Koji Kamai, of course, of Kazuchika Okada. As far as also Dragon's Den for Tamura. United Empire, of course, for Daniel Makabe. Suzuki-gun, of course, for Hook. A lot of talent again in this block as well. This is another one that could go either way. A lot of talent. And a lot of guys have made it to the finals and have won G1 Climaxes in the past. Of course, Tamura, Okada. Miro's made it to the finals before. The hell of a block. And for Block B. For Block C, we have Brody King, Daichi Hashimoto, Dominic Garrini, Juice Robinson, Kenta, Los Sombra, Levi Mir, Ray Fenix, Rush, and the Never Openweight champion in Will Hobbs. Of course, the Dark Order leader in Will Hobbs, the Bomb Squad member of Rush, Ray Fenix of Task Force Death, Levi Mir of Monstars U, Los Sombra of Los Ingobernables de Japón, and of course of Diamond K, Juice Robinson of Peace, Love, and War, of course the leader of Peace, Love, and War, Suzuki-gun's Dominic Garrini. Daichi Hashimoto looking to follow the footsteps of his father and have a great G1 showing and maybe even go on to the finals, maybe even win the whole goddamn thing. Being in his first G1, this is a massive moment for Daichi Hashimoto. Brody King, as well, a part of the Kingdom of Torture. This is a hell of a block, though. You got a little bit of everything. You got guys that have been former heavyweight champions in Kenta and Sombra, and you have guys that are in the prime of their careers, like Will Hobbs, Rush, Ray Fenix, who have had, especially Hobbs and Ray Fenix, have been Intercontinental Champion, Never Openweight Champ, and all of the belts in between, but have yet, and I would even say Juice Robinson to this extent, but haven't won the big one yet. And maybe this is their time if they can win their block and go on to win the whole goddamn thing. And for Block D, we have Alex Coughlin, Chaz Gable, Donovan Dijak, Hiromu Takahashi, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Pac, Ricochet, Sonata, Shane Strickland, and Volter. It's a goddamn caps lock block, if you will. But yeah, Volter, Pac, and Sonata. We have, as far as with Sonata, of course, and Hiromu, former IWGP Heavyweight Champions. But of course, Sonata's got some, as far as a big promise to win this G1. And if he can do it, my God, talk about a top-level performance. To call your shot and then do it. As far as to pull the Babe Ruth, if you will. As far as being able to do what it is you even have put into the atmosphere. It's a lot of pressure, though, because you have some very top talent. Of course, we talked about the IWGP Heavyweight Champions of Hiromu involved in this block, but you have Chaz Gable's incredible, Pac incredible, Ricochet looking to make a big splash in this first G1, Volter, of course, looking to make a big splash in this G1, Shane Strickland looking to maybe have a House of Black versus House of Black main event for Wrestle Kingdom if he can beat everybody in this block and go on to win the whole goddamn thing. This is a fun block here, because you got a little bit of everything. Dijak, of course, a Monstars U guy. Coughlin, Peace, Love, and War guy. Gable, of course, a part of Suzuki-gun. Hiromu, of course, leader of the Bomb Squad. Nakajima, Diamond K. Task Force Death member and Pac. Koji Kamai, member of Ricochet. And, of course, Designs of Perfection and Sonata. And then, House of Black for Shane Strickland and United Empire for Volter. But this is, Volter and Dijak's going to be a fun matchup. But Volter's definitely going to be, I think, the big tower to overcome for this block. If you have any aspirations or wants and needs of wanting to win this block, you got to beat him. He's the guy, to beat for sure, just from his sheer size and how he's been performing. And he's hungry, man. He wants to win this G1. He wants to be the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the first ever Austrian-born IWGP Heavyweight Champion. It starts with winning that block. But as far as for these episodes, for the first part, we're going to run 20 shows. We're going to basically jump to when the show is being run, just because, again, this is going to be a very long episode, as you all know, and we want to make sure we try to get as much in it as we humanly possibly can. We won't look at the standings until after 20 days, so as far as basically once everyone has worked 4 shows, basically, is where we go from part 1 to part 2. And of course, then we'll go into the the rest of the block matches and then into the semifinals and eventually the finals for the second part, which will be released next week. And yeah, I mean, we're already again more now than halfway through 2028. We're already after for the first day of the G1, but we will as far as stop the recording, get everything squared away, and we'll be set for the G1 Climax. Alrighty, so the first block here, as far as we have a Young Lion matchup to kick it off, but we're at the Amada Green Dome, 20,000 people for this first show. Very, very impressive, actually, to think of that many people showing up as far as, because, again, this is going to be a long-ass tour, and they are jam-packed, though. Part of me wanted to, eventually, I don't know when we'll do it, but eventually we're going to have to go around the world with this G1. It just makes sense. We literally can do it, and it'd probably be very successful to be able to be done. To do a global G1 and have the G1 instead of be grade 1, be called the global one, to have that idea, boy, that'd be great to do. But, and that'd be just fun for the talent, but also that would be very fucking taxing on the talent too. A lot of plane rides, a lot of fucking travel, but it, as far as hopefully it'd all be worth it. But Daniel Garcia and Roderick Strong getting the win, of course, and Garcia with the Dragon Sleeper, of course, a nice little team there for, Daniel Garcia and Roderick Strong. But Barbaro Cavanero, Leona Fujinami, actually a decent little matchup here. Barbaro Cavanero getting the one to lock Cavanero in 20 minutes, and the big 2 points for the Caveman. As what a win. Beating Fujinami there, outperformed him too. Good shit. As the lack of psychology here for the Steelers Show matchup, just great. But Pentagon Jr. gets the win, the Fear Factor. What a big motherfucker to be hitting that on, though, as far as the package pile driver, of course, Pentagon Jr. But, man, that's a Khan getting up for that is pretty crazy. But what a win for Pentagon Jr. and 2 points for him. 93 for Jay White and Ryu Lee as Jay White gets the win. Beats Ryu Lee here with the Blade Runner in 28 minutes. As, as far as for Jay White, more of, had his success as a heavyweight. But Ryu Lee, man, has the talent to make it happen. Starting off a little slow, coming out of the blocks, but, still a lot of time left, obviously. Still got 9 more matches for him. Or actually, you got 8 more matches left for you. So you still have time to turn it around. A slow start, but not over for Ryu Lee. And Zack Sabre Jr., Shotaro Ashino. What a goddamn matchup this is. Kind of crazy that there was no psychology in a matchup between these two fuckers. Because if I had to guess, 2 of the best as far as technically sounded people on our roster and guys that really should understand the business by this point, it is these 2 fuckers. And what a win, though, for Zack Sabre Jr. to beat Shotaro Ashino in 27:51. Crazy that I only got an 87. It's a 90, though, for Tyler Black and Konosuke Takeshita, our main event. These 2 men have battled out for that IWGP Heavyweight title in the past. Of course, Tyler Black's first ever win in reign of the IWGP Heavyweight title came after Konosuke Takeshita with Robbie Eagles interfering and turning on Takeshita as far as as far as as far as from that regard, or was it the turn? Oh no, it was the turn. Never mind. Yeah, it was because Takeshita was in chaos. Yeah, and then that led to Diamond Gay as far as him leaving. But Tyler Black getting the win with God's Last Gift, avoiding the champion curse on losing on his first matchup, and he beats a hell of a talent in Konosuke Takeshita as well. And 90, just crazy. This should have been way better of a show. I cannot believe that co-main event got screwed like that, but it is what it is. As who to put over? I mean, we gotta put over Zack and Ashino. Feel like that makes sense. And Konosuke Takeshita, why not? He had a 90. He did great. Actually, Ryu Lee, man, I mean, he was fantastic. Yeah. He had like a 93 or 92, whatever it was. But that's the first day in the books. Pretty good show. Can't really fault a 90. Can't be too upset with that. As on to day 2, we go. Alrighty, day 2, as we kick off with Cedric Alexander and Desmond Xavier taking on Leon Ruff in J.S. Hayes. As Leon Ruff, we want to have him be, I just wanted to see where his baseline was. Now I know he'll probably go to GCW, work down there for a little bit, come back, and with as far as after the tournament. But Yeah, as far as a 54 is not bad for somebody starting off. But as far as for Desmond Xavier and Cedric Alexander, great performances from those guys, especially from Cedric. And Desmond Xavier, though, gets the win in 10:05. Nice win for the X-Men as Yota Tsuji and Miro. As far as having a 77 here, Yota Tsuji gets the win with the spear over Miro. Only a point difference between the two men. I think that's the right call, actually. If Yota Tsuji get the win, I believe this is the first time meeting between those two as well. Then Daniel Makabe and Kazuchika Okada. My God, Okada with a 59 is brutal to see. Gets the one to Haju Bomb, though, in 21-28. But yeah, unfortunate, to say the very least, there with Okada's rating. And Hayato Tamura and Shota Umino here. As far as Tamura gets the win with the face lock in 12:44. Again, we had to have a Steal the Show matchup. Figured this would kind of be the best case scenario for it. And yeah, did pretty well, all things considered. But yeah, Tamura than 83. Obviously, the Intercontinental Champion, again, starting off with a win. So he avoids the Champion's Curse. Keith Lee and Hook, as Hook gets the win. As what a victory for Hook in 20 minutes. Beats Keith Lee as well. As far as, again, kind of hearkening to what his dad's matches were with, Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow, the big guy, little guy match. It just makes for a compelling story. And even for Keith Lee, maybe even kind of play up the, to where, he falls on his back, but Hook eats it. Doesn't go, obviously, through the ring. We don't steal it spot for spot, but to harken back to that spot, maybe even instead of going just a flat back bump like that, have him basically dump him into the buckle, and then once he's in the buckle, Lee turns around and layers him over the ropes, sends him to the floor, something like that. But yeah, just big man, little man match, and Hook gets the win in the end and gets his first 2 points of this tournament. Cody Omega and Jon Moxley don't click. Terrible to see that, because this would have been a great matchup, still a good matchup, with an 88 here, with the bad chemistry. But the Death Rider from Moxley gets the win in a major 2 points for the Death Rider, beating Cody Omega. Obviously, the first night was better, but not bad that was a 74, the opening contest. That's kind of crazy. Did not expect that at all. But yeah, obviously, Moxley and Umeda, what a match that would have been had they had chemistry. And yeah, we'll put over Tamura as well. Just crazy how bad Okada was in that matchup. Like, Okada got outperformed by almost everybody on the card. Just wild. Just wild to think. And on to day 3. Here we go. Alrighty, day 3, as we're at the Maruyama Baseball Stadium, which I feel like for baseball stadiums in the summer makes so much sense to run as far as from a scheduling perspective. But Rex Steiner and Takanori Ito get the win here. Takanori Ito, he just about made it to that G1 as far as it's so hard, with 40 spots to try to get everybody. But he was somebody that was definitely on the bubble looking to get in and just missed out on it. But as far as Takanori Ito gets the win with the German suplex, and that's a good match, though. Good little opener. We'll take it. I didn't think it was going to be a 74, which this is also 74. Brody King and Kenta. Brody King gets the one. The Gonzo Bomb beats Kenta, former IWGP Heavyweight Champion there, and Brody King getting a massive, massive win. Obviously, former IWGP Heavyweight Champion in the save, but for Kenta. But yeah, Brody King, he got outperformed, which is tough, especially for Kenta at his age to still be performing at such a high level. But it is what it is. A nice win, though, for Brody King nonetheless. And, as far as, again, using just that size, that strength to get the victory, and also to just dump him right on his goddamn head. It's Roosh and Dominic Garrini have a 68 here. Tough break as far as, again, had to be a Steal the Show matchup. Lalanza, though, for Roosh getting the win. If he wasn't really off his game, this probably would have been in the 70s, but it is what it is. As far as from that regard, 81, though, for Juice and Levi Mir. Hell of a matchup for this one, as far as Juice Robinson getting the win to Pulp Friction. 2 points for him. And a good start for Juice Robinson. And a good little performance there. An 92, an 89 and 87 for both Ray Phoenix and Daichi Hashimoto. Hashimoto outperforms Ray Phoenix. My God, we have the future ace, right? And Daichi Hashimoto, my God, what a win. And what a performance. In the Vertical Drop Brainbuster 2, he might just follow in his father's footsteps here in this G1. and pick up a massive victory in a 93 for our main event, with La Sombra losing to Will Hobbs. So Hobbs is also another champion that avoids the curse of losing on that first matchup in the round robin tournaments. But man, Hobbs with a massive win over an IWGP Heavyweight Champion in La Sombra, and this might even be his year to be IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and might even go on to win the whole goddamn thing for this G1. Of course, he's made it to the finals in the past, but he did not walk away as the victor. Maybe this is the year for him, but my God, what a show. A 93 main event, 92 co-main. Can't beat that. Cannot beat that. We'll put over Sombra for losing to Hobbs, and we'll put over Hashimoto and Ray FedEx. My God, what a match for those men. Hell of a performance, though. A really good show. Really good show there for day 3. And we go on to Block D for day 4, and then everybody will have their first matchups of the tournament, and we'll see how that plays out. Alrighty, day 4 starts off with as far as a Joshi tag matchup, a Young Linus tag matchup even, with Hitomi Okamura and Midori Nomura losing to Teihonma and Tam Nakano as far as for the Cosmic Angels getting the win as far as a cross heel hook for Honma over Okamura. It's a good performance from the Cosmic Angels, though. I mean, for 68-61, not bad at all for them. The 76, that is tough, though. Chaz Gable had a great performance here against Shane Strickland. This is a fun match, though. Great amplitude for Gable in 20 minutes. Tough break there. That it's lack of psychology. Can't believe it. Donovan Dijak losing to Ricochet here. A spinning Michinoku driver for a guy of Dijak's size is pretty crazy, not gonna lie. But, hell of a win, though, nonetheless, with Ricochet getting the win in a steel strip matchup. Really, the idea was Dijak goes for, feast your eyes. Ricochet, though, lands on his feet instead. Probably bounces off the ropes. Maybe the jumping enziguri, as far as stun him. Go for, as far as, maybe even a springboard kick after that, and then go to the top. Shooting star press, or as far as I wouldn't say a 630, maybe even 630. As far as that could also be the finish instead of a shooting star press off the top. But yeah, Ricochet using his speed to beat the stronger and the bigger Donovan Dijak there. 92 for Volter and Alex Coughlin. Of course, Coughlin beat Volter last year during this G1, and Volter for him gets his win back and gets the win with the Burning Lariat as well. Of course, they also had the title matchup for the, what's the Intercontinental title now? I'm already forgetting what belt Falter had during that time. I think it was the Never Open title, but, yeah, I believe it was the Never Open title. So, Never Open title matchup between those two, after Coughlin beat him. But a good matchup, though, 92. And a 97, Katsuhiko Nakajima and Pac. What a, match from my fucking dreams here. This is, only here could we see this match take place. Nakajima and Pac. Fun fucking match, though, as far as Pac gets to win the Shooting Star Press in 24-26. It's crazy that Pac is just so much better than Nakajima. Also crazy, again, Nakajima, not even 40 yet by 2028. Insane. What a young son of a bitch. And then Hiromu and Sonata. Both men go the distance. Of course, their history, part of LIJ, now leading their own factions. For Hiromu, he does not beat Sonata, but for Sonata's sake, he also doesn't lose either. So his path to victory is still in the positive, but not the start you probably wanted if you're Sonata and you are guaranteeing victory. You want to go through a block and make sure that you're going to make it to the finals, and that draw is not going to help you as much as it probably could if he would have obviously beat him. But at least, again, though, to try to look on the positive sides of things, he also didn't lose either, but a hell of a show there. A great main event, hell of a co-main, great performance from Pac, great performance from Volter, and Hiromu and Sonata, obviously, tremendous matchup there. So we'll put over Hiromu, but my God, Block C and D had some great fucking matches in a great show. So, it's looking like that second half is looking like it's the block to beat, as far as for great matches and great shows, which is kind of crazy to think about as far as from that perspective, because there's no champions in Block D as far as current reigning champions. I guess there is one half of the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champs with Dijak, but no singles champs. As far as from that regard. But yeah, on to day 5 we go. We go back around the Block A. And we're already almost, as far as almost already a week into the tournament. And yeah, as far as luckily no one's gotten hurt or anything like that, that's kind of the big thing we want to avoid. So yeah, on to day 5 we go. Alrighty, for as far as day 5 here, as far as for Block A, back around the loop is the Divine Angels. Taking on the New Wave of Strokes to kick off the show. Actually, a really good matchup as far as for an opening contest. And what a good performance from Yuto Nakashima and Oiwa, but, Nakashima still a 58, worst guy in the matchup, so hence why they lost. And Garza getting the win as well over Yuto Nakashima. I mean, probably Archangel Divino probably should have got the win since he was the best guy in the match, and beating the worst guy would have made sense, but we'll take it. A decent little matchup, though, nonetheless. And at 85, for the first matchup of the night, was Zack Sabre Jr. beating Leono Fujinami with the European Clutch again. You can imagine this is a technical masterclass matchup with Zack being able to really show off his shit. They gotta love that. It's an 80 for Konosuke Takeshita and Barbara Cabanero, as Takeshita getting the win in 12-24 with the German suplex hold, again, just to steal the show match, but they have great chemistry, though. This being an interesting match in real life, I don't know when, I mean, I guess AEW could run it, but I don't think Tony's gonna bring in Cabanero. Maybe he will, who knows, but, I'm just kind of intrigued by how that match would play out, to be honest, more so of, like, because Cabanero, I mean, he's not really more of a kind of Haas luchador, kind of in the sense of like a Black Taurus, or as far as, or even like an Ultimo Guerrero, if you want to go a little back in the generation. But I think still it'd probably be a decent little matchup, all things considered. It's not like it's going to be a bad match. Putting on Junior, beating Jay White with a cross armbar, so beats Jay White here, both guys off their game, tough break, probably shouldn't have had it as high on the card as I did, but I had confidence in them, and I had faith, but they fucked me here. But a good match, though, at least, even with that. And 99, my god, for Ryu Lee and Satoru Shino. Zashino beats Ryu Lee with a T-Bone. Tough start for Ryu Lee, but Satoru Shino, a man that had a hell of a run at the top of the cards for a hot minute there, and also had a great tag team title run, obviously, with Claudio, and now looking to get back to the top of the mountain. Maybe not that same type of athlete he was a couple of years back, but he's still got a chance here with a great start to his G1, beating Ryu Lee. And then Tyler Black beats the Great Okan with a curb stomp in 25-55. Nice win for the heavyweight champion and the U.S. champ, but beats the Great Okan there in the main event. And figured we should have him be on the main event as far as him being the heavyweight champion. But honestly, obviously, Satoru Shino and Ryu Lee, a 99. Hell of a matchup there. We'll put over Ryu Lee for, again, having a great performance. Tyler Black for his performance as well. And, trying to think who, I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. is always a good call. Go with that. Good shit. So, yeah, day 5, another stadium show. So that's nice. 25,000 on hand for it. As on to day 6, we go. Alrighty, day 6 starts off with as far as, oh damn, I forgot to pick a venue. So it's just at Kawasaki in Kanto. Damn, as I thought I picked the venue. But for day 6, Baroni Yamamura and Burberry Baba, Designs of Perfection, beating Young Lion team Ryoshi Kai and Fumio Nakanawa. As Yamamura gets to win the Baroni Bomb. Of course, best guy in the match by far. I mean, Nakanawa and Kai combined, not even close to, well, I guess you could say they were close, rather, to Burberry Baba, but still, combined-wise, that's all it took for them to get even close to him. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, right team getting the win there, and 80 for Makabe and Tsuji, as Tsuji losing to Makabe over the Makabe lock, 23-37, obviously the better guy gets the win there. Damn, a 67. Brutal matchup here. Hook is off his game. Brutal match for him, as he has a 56 and Okada with a 16. He was visibly tired towards the end. Dear God. Dear God. Brutal to see that. Miro, though, getting the win with the game over Shota Umino, basically from the bell. He just is kicking the shit out of Umino. When Umino is trying to be that comeback underdog babyface, and he just keeps getting cut off every time, and he just keeps on getting the shit knocked out of him. But he keeps fighting, though. That man will not give up. And as far as it's your traditional storytelling of the big nasty heel beating up on the up-and-coming star. And, as for sure, he does not get the win here, but obviously the fans, the sympathy is there, and the fans are knowing that this kid has got no quit in him, as far as from that perspective. So a nice win, though, for Miro, nonetheless. And Cody Umeda and Keith Lee get a 91, as Cody Umeda picks up the big man with a Fisherman Buster in 21 minutes. That's a hell of a finish for somebody of Keith Lee's size to take. And a 91 here. For our main event, is it the time limit draw for the Intercontinental Champion and Jon Moxley. As, again, Moxley, he, of course, never had as far as for Moxley and Tamura, they never really had, like, a big-time program or anything like that, so a fresh matchup. It's only a couple-point difference between the two. I like it. I think it was a good call to have that be a draw, so 1 point for each man. And an 89 overall. Again, sucks that we were at Kawasaki and not at an actual venue, but we'll make it work. I know I clicked on Rishi as, before I got the praise. But yeah, Tamura and Moxley for sure, and then Cody Umeda. Here for day 6, as on to day 7, we go. Alrighty, for day 7 here, the G1 Climax, as we are at the Hanazono Hanazono Rugby Stadium, as Kato Crusher and Kosai Fujita here beating the Throwing Together team as far as having a couple of Lion Mark guys as far as from on the kind of undercard side of things when Sugata Takasato and Ren Narita, which they are a terrible team. Narita was off his game. Sato's still rusty. Just brutal all the way around. But Kato Crusher, at least, does pretty well for himself. And even Gosai Fujita with a 62 is not too bad for him. And then for the next matchup, Kenta beating Dominic Garrini here as Kenta combo into the Basaiku knee in 20 minutes. Outperformed him, too. So a good win there for Kenta. As Brody King with the Gonzo Bomb. This was a tough one to give Brody King another win, because I figured Levi Muir would have a pretty good chance of beating him as far as performance-wise, and he absolutely did. Even if I think if Brody King was on his game, this still would have been Levi Muir having the better performance in that one. And our Steal the Show matchup, Daichi Hashimoto and Rush. As Rush with a terrible performance, really, when you think about it. Hashimoto outperformed him here after getting the big win on his first matchup in the G1 this year. Loses here to Rush, but still a good performance from Hashimoto nonetheless. In our co-main event, La Sombra gets his first win, beats Juice Robinson in 24-15 with a split-legged corkscrew senton after losing to Will Hobbs on his first night. And then at 84 for our main event, a crazy upset for Ray Phoenix as far as size-wise, but obviously performance-wise, he was the better man, and he beats the Never Openweight champion, and just like that, he gets a Never Openweight title matchup in the future with that win. And that's kind of our first kind of bit of a swing and a miss show in a hot minute. Sure, it was a point away from being an 85 in the main event, probably an 84 overall, but still, would have been nice if we would have had a better show. And yeah, I think we're going to go Phoenix, Sombra, and honestly, I think Daichi Hashimoto deserves some praise as well. Well, we actually did the exact same thing last time. So maybe let's go Levi Muir instead. I like that. I think that worked out pretty well there. And that is day 7. And on to day 8. Of course, after day 8 will be 2 shows in for each block. It's crazy that we're still in the infancy of the G1 here. We've already, been through now 8 shows once we get to day 8. But again, with these 4 blocks, it is a long-ass tour. That is for sure. On to day 8, we go. Alright, we are back at the Yamada Green Dome for day 8 of the G1 as Kawato and Hideo Oka, as far as kicking off the show. Hideo Oka, almost in the 50s as a young lion. He's probably one of our better ones that have come out of the dojo, and he is pretty much ready to go. All we got to do is basically have him go on an excursion for about a year or 2, have him come back, and he'll be ready for a, hopefully, a nice little run. Hopefully he's at least in the 60s by the time he comes back. That would be nice. As Sonata and Kazuki Nakajima having a good little matchup here in 83, as Sonata beating Nakajima with a Sonata lock. So that's his first win. But of course, he already had the draw, so he's up to 3 points already just in the first 2 days of for Block D. As Alex Coughlin, Donovan Dijak, no chemistry here. Bit of a brutal affair. The dijection for Donovan Dijak gets the win. He did outperform Coughlin, so Right Guy gets the win there. And Hiromu beats Shane Strickland with the time bomb. This actually be a hell of a matchup in modern day wrestling, especially if it's in either New Japan or AEW. But Hiromu gets the win with a time bomb in 25 minutes. And yeah, definitely outperformed Strickland there. Nana does good work at ringside as well. Good shit. With Pac and Ricochet, obviously, a matchup that is just destined to be great. As far as Pac and Ricochet, Pac gets the win with the corkscrew shooting star press. And ends, of course, gets his 2 points as well. And what a victory. Tough break for Ricochet to have his first loss against Pac, but at the same time, it is Pac, as far as he was going to have to lose eventually. Might as well be to one of the best in the world. And Volter and Chaz Gable is our main event, as the Burning Laird from Volter gets the win in 26 minutes. A hell of a win, and a hell of a main and co-main there for Day 8. And again, this Block D show is just a banger and a half, as we'll put over Pac, Gable, and Volter. So I feel like that changes it up a little bit for what we did last time. I guess we could go Gable, or no, we already have Gable, we already did Hiromu, so yeah, we'll stick with what we got. Yeah, guys, I guess we could go with Ricochet, but we'll stick with that. The hell of a main event and co-main event, though, and we're almost in the double digits. So at least we're moving along quite nicely. Again, no injuries, so we've dodged a bullet there. Basically, what it comes down to now is just making it to day 20 for this first part, uninjured, and we should be pretty much set, at least for first part of this G1, and yeah, on to day 9 we go. Alrighty, so night 9 of the G1 Climax starts off with a Joshi matchup as far as the Young Lioness in Asako Yakushuji coming up against Rina Yamashita, and of course, Yamashita gets the win, Splash Mountain, and doubled her as far as performance-wise. Really wasn't close for Yakushuji. Next matchup, though, Konosuke Takeshita and the Great Okan having a bit of a banger here. I don't know how it was only an 83 with Konosuke Takeshita's 91, but he gets the win in 22:46 as well. Great win for Takeshita there. Ryu Lee beating Leona Fujinami. Another match that has great chemistry, and another match that shockingly is only an 80, as it was a Steel Trail matchup, so I guess there is that. So now, as far as, I guess that does make sense, it's capped at an 80, but a hell of a matchup, though, for Ryu Lee. And our next contest, Barbaric Habanero, losing to Zack Sabre Jr. Zack gets the win, as, he keeps on getting a lot of big-time wins so far in this G1. Obviously, it's very early, but still, he's picking up wins left and right. And another matchup that should have just been an absolute banger, as Ashino and Pentagon Jr., 92 and 88, I just can't believe it was only an 84. I know it was lack of psychology, but again, just shocking there. But a T-Bone Suplex gets the win in our main event. What an upset here. The heavyweight champion losing to Jay White, as Jay White beat Tyler Black with the Blade Runner in 28:40. A hell of a win, and I honestly, this matchup just makes too much sense to not do as far as Jay White and Tyler Black do the rematch for the heavyweight title. And, it's a 98 there for that main event. Hell of a main event. First Tyler Black loss, though, since he's been the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Obviously, it's only been a month or so, but still. It's a huge loss, though, nonetheless. But a hell of a show. This should have been even better, as far as from a show perspective. Just crazy how it kind of got fucked over. But, yeah, we're putting over Tyler Black. We're putting over Shino. And probably, honestly, we're going to go with Takeshita as far as that. I feel like that makes sense the most. Perfect. Alrighty, so, as far as 9 nights have come and gone now, we're almost at the halfway point of this first part, as after night 10, it will just be, 10 shows first in the books, and then 10 more shows left for this first part. But so far, again, we've just been pretty lucky with some great matches. No injuries, anything like that, so that's been a good sign. We're almost into August, just like that. As, on to day 10 we go. Alrighty, night 10, as we are back at the Maruyama Baseball Stadium. as Hatsuki Aoyagi and Ryoto Machizuki beating Osamu Nojima and Moroka Takato, as Hatsuki Aoyagi getting with the Firebird Splash. Obviously, the better team there for Machizuki and Aoyagi. But again, Moroka Takato, for a young lion, a 46, not bad at all. And even Osamu Nojima with a 30-80s, even getting better. As Hayato Tamura with the Jackhammer win over Miro. Of course, the Intercontinental Champion is doing quite well for himself. Hasn't lost yet. Has the draw, of course, with Moxley, but still has done very well for himself. And then Kota Umeda beating Kazuchika Okada in 9 minutes and 47 seconds. This is a crazy one. Basically, the idea is this one is a fast and stiff affair to begin with. Okada goes for the Haju Bomb, gets countered into a Fisherman Buster, and doesn't kick out. Just like that. As just kind of a shockingly quick finish. Nothing as far as overly done and overly executed. It's just straight up almost a sprint, if you will, for those first 10 minutes. As Yota Tsuji beating Hook with a spear in 2025, even though Hook outperforms him. Great win, though, for Yota Tsuji. That's his first 2 points of the tournament as well, with that win over Hook. Another 20-minute encounter, as Shota Umino and Daniel Makabe, unfortunately, they don't have chemistry. It's a bit of an awkward bout. Umino gets the win with the Henkai Death Rider in 1954. In our main event, we see Jon Moxley with his Death Rider over Keith Lee in another 20-minute encounter in a bit of a brutal show, to be honest. Nothing above an 85. As far as segment ratings, the show itself an 81. Not great. Not great there. Umeda did well. As far as Umeda, his performance was great. Honestly, Hook was, Hook and Yota Tsuji had the second best match on the card, which is kind of crazy to think about. So we'll put over Hook, and then we'll put over Moxley as well. As, yeah, bit of a run-of-the-mill show, to be honest there. That was a bit of an unfortunate affair as far as in that regard. As on to day 11, we go. Alrighty, day 11 of the G1, as far as for the opening contest, Fred Yai, Takanori of Suzuki-gun, taking on Junta Miyawaki, as far as in Hiroshi Miyoshi. But yeah, Junta, we haven't really been using him a whole lot. It's unfortunate because he's just not over enough, and him not being in a group kind of fucks him in that regard, because now he's obviously should be kind of more used as a not a young lion talent, obviously, and should be used more so as like a recognizable talent, but he's just not over enough. So he's just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, really, in his position on the card. But Yehai and Takanori of Suzuki-gun get the win, as Yehai gets in with the Koji Clutch as well. Taiji Hashimoto beats Kenta in 24 minutes with a vertical drop ring buster. It's kind of crazy to think. Then in a different timeline, if, once Hashimoto gets kind of screwed over, instead of going and forming 0-1, he joins Noah. We could have had Kenta and Shinya Hashimoto, which probably been a pretty awesome match during the mid-2000s. But as far as just the way the cards had laid, that's not what we got. But we get Taiji Hashimoto and Kenta here, which Hashimoto outperformed him, even though he was off his game, and gets the win with a vertical drop brainbuster too. That's a big win, though. To beat a former heavyweight champion as well in your first G1, that's pretty great. Greeny and Brody King, 64. So both guys probably should have had the Hashimoto Kenta match above this, but it is what it is. Brody was off his game too, but it got the crowd buzzing, and this was the Steal the Show match again. I just wanted these two guys, especially with Brody King being such an absolute force in there. In the finish, a triangle choke. I figured have Brody King go for his Gonzo Bomb as he's trying to get him up. Guarini doesn't even go for a traditional backdrop out of it. Basically, hooks the legs of Brody King to where he can't pick him up, and they're just kind of at a stalemate. And he ends up trying to Brody King is realizing that there's a stalemate, that he's not going to be able to pick him up for the Gonzo Bomb. And so eventually he ends up just breaking out of the waist lock that he has. Technically it wouldn't even be a waist lock. It just as he's trying to get him down and under for a Gonzo Bomb. Guarini realizes that now they've separated out of the grapple, and he just sucks him into a guard. It locks it in a triangle choke, and it just kind of happens so fast that Brody King just gets caught. And as far as for him, getting caught in a triangle choke like that, very, very impressive for Green to get a win like that, but also it puts over how great of a submission artist he is, but also gives Brody King at least an out of being like, man, he just got caught with something that was at a legit finish in a triangle choke. For Ray Phoenix, he loses to Juice Robinson here, as Juice gets the win with the Pulp Friction in 24-11. Lack of psychology here, but did good little matchup though at 91. Did better than I anticipated, to be honest. I didn't think it'd be even in the 90s. But our main event, oh no, it's not even the main event. Jesus, it's the co-main. That's right, as La Sombra beats Levi Mir. They have pretty good chemistry though, and Sombra gets his win with the Brilliant Driver in 25-39. A hell of a matchup, and good luck following that. They about did it though, Will Hobbs and Roosh, as Hobbs gets him up for the rack and wins it in 23-29. What a matchup though, and these two, TK, you gotta make it happen. As far as Roosh and Hobbs, they beat the fuck out of each other. It'd be awesome. But what a fucking show. That went really well. Yeah, that was crazy. As yeah, we put over Roosh. We'll put over Sombra. And we'll put over Hobbs too. Yeah, it was a very, very good show. Very, very pleased with that one. As now on to day 12, we go. Alrighty, so day 12, we have the Strictures of Strong Style beating the Los Ingobernables de Japón team at Tetsuya Naito and Bushi, which is hilarious. That shows you how the mighty have fallen with this one, as far as Iwazaki and Masada getting the win, even though Bushi did pretty well for himself, actually. I just could not, for the life of me, have Naito lose here. He probably should have, though, as that probably would have made the most sense. As far as his role has definitely been shifted within LIJ. But Iwazaki, though, still gets a big win, though, over Bushi nonetheless, as he gets to win the backdrop hold. As well, the Great Amplitude for Alex Coughlin, and as far as Chaz Gable, getting the win with that in 24-11. The match itself gets an 83, Gable with an 89. Again, just lack of psychology for these Gable matches really makes me just want to punt something as hard as I can. Shane Strickland and Katsuhiko Nakajima. I cannot believe Nakajima was at a 90 here. What a great performance for him. Beats Shane Strickland with a vertical spike at 11:33 too. This is a Steel Show matchup, and I want these guys to go all out and have a fucking onslaught of a match, really. As far as, because I mean stylistically too, it's kind of crazy that they're only like a couple of years apart age-wise, which is again just so weird. When obviously Nakajima has pretty much been in the modern day, as far as, I wouldn't even say just the psyche of professional wrestling since the mid-2000s, and as far as Shane Strickland, not so much. But Nakajima, getting that win is massive, and a great performance from him, and a big 2 points as well, as Pac beats Dijak with a 450 splash. 2 points for Pac, 23-23 is that matchup as well. And, Dijak, almost in the 70s, just missed it by a point, but obviously Pac was going to be the better guy there. In a hell of a co-main event, Sonata taps out Ricochet in 29 minutes. I would absolutely love if Ricochet, as far as maybe trying to go for a like a back handspring, as far as maybe a kick, or maybe even a backspring elbow, maybe even do the Superman kind of, as far as doing the Superman landing, and Sonata rolls him up into a Sonata lock. That'd be kind of a cool finish. Maybe even, he's trying to jump off the ropes. Sonata grabs a waist lock, roll through. Looks like Ricochet's going to roll through it, but Sonata ends up putting in, instead of, with Ricochet trying to put his body on top of Sonata for the count. Sonata reaches up and gets in the Dragon Sleeper and ends up elevating his shoulders off the mat and gets the win that way. It's just a fun finish. Weirdly, I think their matchup would do pretty well. Stylistically, they're a little different. Obviously, Ricochet would be able to work his style very much well with somebody like Sonata, but I don't know, as far as Sonata's base, I don't know how well of a base he would be for some of Ricochet's shit, but still, they should do pretty well, like springboards and whatnot. But our main event is Hiromu Takahashi and Walter, Hell of a matchup here. Hiromu gets him up for the time bomb and gets the win in 27:53. Another match that lacks psychology. God damn it, but a hell of a match. And a hell of a main and co-main again. Just fantastic stuff. Block D has really been proven to be just a tremendous block. Great matches throughout so far in just their 3 shows. And then we'll put over Hiromu, and I'll put over Bushi just because he was a little upset that he lost in the opener, just to keep him happy. But yeah, I mean, so far everybody now, 3 days in for each block, as we've reached day 12, and now we just have 8 more shows left for the rest of this part. And, as far as 2 nights for each block as well. So hopefully we can make it to the halfway point with no injuries. That would be awesome, but that's going to be tough though. As on to day 13. Alrighty, day 13 of the G1 starts off with a Joshi tag matchup as Himawari, Unagi, and Hanakamura, the Tokyo Cyber Squad, beating the Donna Del Mondo team of Soletta and Natsui Samurai. As far as Soletta and Natsui losing here, of course, Hanakamura gets the win with the big boot. Best woman in the match beats the worst woman for the other team. As, I felt like, we did like a Joshi tag match with a Young Lioness team on one side and the established team on the other side. I felt like having 2 established talents battling it out would make a lot more sense. 2 established teams, rather, battling it out. But yeah, an 80, not bad at all. And the fucking technical masterclass matchup is a 88, as Ryu Lee beats Zack Sabre Jr. as well. What a massive win here in the Osaka Joe Hall Arena. And, Jesus Murphy, what a win for Ryu Lee there, to beat a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion in Zack Sabre Jr. The Great O'Khan, beating Barbaro Cavanero with the Cobra Clutch in 20 minutes. Poor Cavanero, he's had a tough start, to say the very least. As Pentagon Jr. getting the win with the Sling Blade over Leona Fujinami. That's a tough break for Fujinami. But a win for Pentagon Jr. nonetheless, so that's 2 points for him. Konosuke Takeshita and Jay White, unfortunately, we knew that they had as far as they didn't have any chemistry, so we put this as the steal the show matchup, and I felt like to go with a Konosuke Takeshita win with the Wall of Takeshita was hoping it would basically, we probably could have even had somebody interfere for Jay White, goes against him as far as, goes for maybe a chair shot to the back, but, Konosuke Takeshita counters the Irish Whip and ends up, going into Jay White. And then as far as maybe a little bit afterwards, you could even have Jay White go for the Blade Runner, or just have him, now that he's got his hurt back, have Takeshita target the back and get the Wall of Takeshita that way. Either way, though, we could have also went with just the way of having Takeshita counter a Blade Runner into a roll-up, but then the roll-up ends up being a Wall of Takeshita, so just linking off of that. And getting the victory that way. But it's tough, though. A 10-minute matchup that ends with a submission in a New Japan environment is tough. It's tough to kind of put over, but I think we could try and do it to the best of our ability, at least, as far as from that regard. Kind of crazy that it still got almost an 80, because the Konosuke Takeshita does 80 overall himself, or 80 in-ring performance. Goddamn, though, what a main event. Tyler Black beats Ashina with the curb stomp just before the 30-minute mark. 30 seconds left on the fucking timer. What a win for Tyler Black here. Right before it's a draw, beats Ashino in a hell of a match. And obviously, that main event is just incredible. Definitely putting over both him and Ashino. And then I feel like we gotta also put over Ryu Lee, because again, what a matchup that was. Block A, putting a fucking statement piece out with that match. I mean, that's a hell of a main event. Can't beat that. As on to day 14, we go. Alrighty, day 14, we have a little junior tag match up here. It's Bomb Squad in House of Black, as a Demonic Bomb and Samurai Del Sol beating the Christian Casanova Robbie Eagles team, as Del Sol gets the win with the Del Sol driver over Christian Casanova, which, actually, first time we found out that the Christian Casanova and Robbie Eagles have excellent chemistry, so that's a great thing to find out on a random opener, but here we are, now we know that. That's great. As, also, 14,000 people, one of the lowest, as far as attendances we've seen so far in this G1, which is not bad at all. I mean, 14,000 people being the worst in 14 days we'll gladly take that. Especially with our schedule. I mean, we're running a show pretty much every day besides on Wednesdays. And even then, that's going to, over to the States for the Strong tapings. But Jon Moxley and Kazuchika Okada starts this off, which is an insane way to start off a G1 block show. But Okada gets the win with the Death Rider, or Okada loses rather to the Death Rider from Jon Moxley, as Moxley with an 85 again. It's just crazy how bad Kazuchika Okada is in this, as Moxley, though, off his game, and he's still 85. Great stuff there. It's Makabe and Miro. 11 minutes, as far as Makabe gets countered, going in for a arm trap German suplex, gets countered into a bullplex, and Miro pins him afterwards. This is, again, you probably have Makabe maybe even land kind of crazy, as far as maybe on the, just damn near looks like he gets crushed by it type of thing to really put it over. But both guys with 72s. Could have went either way, but we went with Miro. In Hook, in Shota Umino. How about 81? How about that? As what a performance for those guys. As Shota Umino gets the win with the Death Rider in 22:45. It's a nice win for the Task Force Death guys tonight, with both Moxley and Umino getting wins. Kota Umeda beats Yota Tsuji with a Fisherman Buster right before the 20-minute mark there, and that's an 84. Yeah, Yota Tsuji didn't really have a chance there. In our main event, Tayato Tamura beats Keith Lee. What a fun Haas match this would be, though. But the Hato driver on the Keith Lee, god damn. That's a big motherfucker to be picking up like that. But what a win, though, for Hato Tamura. Keith Lee was off his game, and he was also tired, too. It's just kind of brutal from that perspective. But they at least tried to have a good little matchup. Man, as far as for Block B, man, there's been a lot more swings and misses than fucking shows that have been knocked out of the park. At least Kota Umeda's doing well. I would even say Tamura's doing well and Moxley's doing well. But that's kind of it. Everybody else is definitely not on the same level as some of these other blocks, especially with like Block D and Block A, with how many great talents there are in those blocks. But yeah, that is another day down, as we are just coming up on the end of the month. And we'll be looking at the standings very, very shortly. But so far, we have seen quite the tournament so far. We've seen champions lose. We've seen major matches. We still have not reached that 100 on a match quality. I don't know if it'll ever fucking happen, to be honest. We're 8 years in, and we still haven't had it. But you never know. Maybe we'll finally get one here. But on to day 15, we go. As day 15, we are back in the Yamada Green Dome for this one. As the opening contest, Carl Fredericks and Francesco Akira. Koji Kamai taking on the Astronauts team. Of course, Fuminari Abe and Takuya Nomura. Again, finding out another team that has excellent chemistry is Francesco Akira and Carl Fredericks. So that works out quite nicely, even though Fredericks is still a little rusty. But, I mean, that's a good sign. Again, to have another team that has excellent chemistry, you can't go wrong with that. But Abe gets the win with a figure 4 over Carl Fredericks as well. Obviously the better team getting the win there, but a hell of a little opener. The next matchup, though, Taichi Hashimoto taking on Dominic Garrini. Gets the win with the vertical drop brainbuster as well. And man, Hashimoto is really having a nice run here in this G1. He's been fantastic. He's gotten some big wins. And he gets another one there and another 2 points, as well as Kenta and Will Hobbs. As Will Hobbs beats Kenta here with the order of business again. Just having an order of business after getting out of the GTS, slams him down, throws him basically damn near through the mat with this one, and gets the win in 10:44. It's a good little matchup, though, even though, of course, it had to be cut short because we had to have a Steel Show matchup, but cool with it, and got the crowd buzzing as well for this matchup as La Sombra and Brody King. Matchup that has great chemistry here. Sombra with the Brilliante driver over Brody King, a hell of a matchup, and obviously Sombra's 94. Is quite impressive. And an 89 for Levi Mir and Ray Fenix, as Fenix gets the win with the Meteora in 24:41. That's an 89 there. As these two, I mean, as far as first time meeting between these two, singles-wise, with Levi Mir and Ray Fenix, stylistically a little different. I don't know how well of a base Levi Mir would be for Ray Fenix, but I'm sure they can make it work. And then Juice Robinson and Roosh is our main event for this night, as Roosh gets the win with a Lalanza, 26:30. This was a tough one to really call what should be the main. As far as with Roosh beating Juice, though, a hell of a matchup. Yeah, I mean, obviously, probably should have went with Sombra and Brody King. Completely thought that at least they would have a good matchup, Juice and Roosh, and I felt like it was a little bit more back and forth, but should have just went with who was going to be the better guy on the show, and that was, of course, going to be Sombra, as we'll definitely be putting him over. And then, yeah, I mean, we'll probably put over Red Phoenix, and he might as well just put over Roosh as well. But now we're just down to the last 5 shows for this part. So we're going to go to day 16, and it's the last go-around for this first part. Again, we've been blessed with no injuries. That's been great. As long as we keep it up, have some great matches, should be fine. Obviously, we're making a ton of money, though. I can only imagine. We're not obviously in financial ruins or anything with the company right now. We are rolling quite nicely. But man, it is nice to have business like we are having right now, where we are basically running every day 20,000 plus people, mostly, besides obviously the 14,000 seat venue arena. But man, we've just been rolling. And on to day 16 we go. Day 16, as far as on the horizon here for us, as far as we're at another stadium with 23,000 people here for Hiwati Athletic Stadium, as Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander beating the Sage Sin Raven Cree team of the Ladies of Torture, if you will, as far as for Jamie Hayter getting the win over Sage Sin. And, yeah, I mean, as far as the Jamie Hayter 73, best woman of the matchup, Raven Cree does pretty well. But, yeah, I'm surprised Statlander, again, is not doing better than I would have hoped for, at least in Japan. Because, again, she's just so much more over in America, so it's just been tough to see that. But Hiromu here beats Alex Coughlin. What a win for Hiromu. And Triangle Choke getting the win over Coughlin. Another 2 points for Hiromu. He's done very well for himself. He was beating Falters, beating Coughlin here. Just with those alone, that's already 4 points. Donovan Dijak with the upset win over Chaz Gable, the reverse Death Valley driver. Alright, he's just busting out a Burning Hammer. Respect, I guess, as far as that's a hell of a way to end a finish like that. As far as maybe have Dijak counter a go behind with a go behind of his own, picks him up for a giant fucking reverse Death Valley driver, driving him into the buckle. It's a way to go about it. And a hell of a win for Dijak, nonetheless. A Shane Strickland Ricochet, I'm sure we'll be seeing that in AEW sooner rather than later, as a spinning Michinoku driver for Ricochet in 24-19. Nice win for Ricochet. And of course, Lucha Underground Brethrens, but they, as far as they never really had a giant program. It's kind of wild to think, as far as from those two. But, yeah, I mean, Ricochet gets the win, much better performer, obviously, and yeah, rightfully so. In our co-main event, hell of a matchup for Walter and Nakajima. Walter gets the win with a Burning Lariat in 23-42. 2 points for him, and a 91 as well. But our main event, we see Pac, the Bastard, beats Sanada with a Shooting Star Senton. Sometimes, for Tanahashi, you gotta put your faith in a bastard, and he does it here, beating Sanada, and that's Sanada's first loss. A tough break for Sanada, but a huge win for Pac, who has been on a hell of a tear in this block. And that is day 16, and just like that, we're down to 4. As far as 4 more shows left, and after day 20, we'll take a look at the standings to see where all the blocks are at to end out this first part. And again, I am just stunned that, I mean, knock on wood, no one's gotten hurt after 16 shows, but my God, Block D has just been a absolute godsend with some of these matches. They've been incredible, some great performances throughout. And now, we go to day 17 to see the last matches for Block A for this first part. Alrighty, so day 17 starts off with a tag matchup with the Bomb Squad taking on United Empire, with Kawato and Chirashia losing to Josh Alexander and Corey Jarvis. Even though they were the better team on paper here, but yeah, Alexander, really off his game. Corey Jarvis just never really worked out, unfortunately, because I really thought the Jarvis-Alexander team would be a fun team, and even probably would have been a New Japan Strong Boy Tag Team Championship team, but it just never happened, unfortunately. Kawato, though, getting a 70 is great to see for him. As the next matchup, so Cavanero and Ryu Lee, we knew they weren't going to have good chemistry, so figured just have a 10-minute quick roll-up finish. Actually, 11 minutes, so that way it's kind of out of nowhere. It's not a Steal the Show matchup either, so probably should have done that, but we have a Steal the Show matchup later on. So 2 matches are going to be below 15 minutes. So a little bit of a different type of pace for this show. The Technical Masterclass matchup, though, Zack Sabre Jr. and Pentagon Jr., as Zack Sabre Jr. gets the win. 22 minutes, a big win for him, as he is still looking to, obviously in real life, it's kind of crazy that in real life, they had Zack Sabre Jr. win a G1 before we did. But we gave him an IWGP Heavyweight title matchup, and not a title matchup, but just giving him a heavyweight title run before they did at least. And here's the Steel Strip matchup. So Tyler Black, Leonel Fujinami. Obviously, Fujinami not on the same level as our heavyweight champion. And felt like this was a good call. That Tyler Black kind of got thrown him like a buzzsaw a little bit. And 2 points for him as well. And that was a 76. Jay White in the Great O'Khan. Another matchup that has great chemistry. And a big win, though, for the Great O'Khan. Beating Jay White with the Cobra Clutch in 20 minutes. And our main event, it's a time limit draw. So 1 point for each man. Shito Ashino and Konosuke Takeshita takes more than 30 between these two men. But yeah, probably should have had maybe Takeshita get the win here. Either way, hell of a matchup to really save the show, to be honest, because nothing was even close to it being a 94 main event. As, yeah, 90 for the show rating because of those two men. And obviously we want to put those guys over. And we'll probably put over Zack. And that is Block A, at least for this first part. Some big matches have already taken place. We've seen some big wins. Jay White's already got a future title matchup with his win over Tyler Black. So far, that's been Tyler Black's only loss, so we'll see how he does for part 2. And on to Block B's final show, as on to Day 18. We go. Alrighty, Day 18, we start off with a tag matchup, actually a Technical Masterclass tag matchup, as I wanted to change it up a little bit, have some of the opening contests be a Technical Masterclass matchup, as Kyle O'Reilly and Daniel Garcia of Dragon's Den beating the Los Ingobernables de Japón team of Shingo Takagi and SB Kento. A decent little matchup here, as Kyle O'Reilly gets the win with the Brainbuster over Shingo Takagi, which is kind of crazy to think about, as far as obviously Shingo, he's won a G1, he's had a heavyweight title matchup. I actually think we actually gave him the heavyweight title earlier on in the save. Or no, he had just won the G1. He didn't have the actual IWGP heavyweight title reign that he did in real life. But kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, what a win for Dragon's Den. As Cody Umeda beats Shota Umino here in 12 minutes. So yeah, just catching him with a Fisherman Buster here, maybe having Shota Umino go off the top rope, maybe even going for like a blockbuster type move. Gets caught with a Fisherman Buster. Easy finish there, but a hell of a win, though, for Cody Umeda. As a great performance from him in a matchup that has great chemistry. As Miro beats Hook here in 21-26 with the game over. Obviously, the better performer is Miro over Hook. So, as far as the right guy gets the win, and another 82. As Keith Lee in Kazuchika Okada here. As Keith Lee beats Okada, kind of crazy when you think about it from that perspective. And what a win for Keith Lee, though, nonetheless, in 20 minutes with the Power Slam. Hell of a win. Hell of a win for Keith Lee. And then Jon Moxley beats Yota Tsuji with the Death Rider in 24-49. Big win for Moxley. And as far as he's been on a hell of a run this G1 and gets another big victory there. And our main event, though, Daniel Makabe beats Hayato Tamura. We have, as far as Makabe beating the Intercontinental Champion, so already, no matter how he finishes in this G1, he will have an Intercontinental title matchup in the future. And maybe, just maybe, he will be the Intercontinental Champion by the end of the year. As Makabe with 77, so he gets outperformed by Tamura, but maybe, once the Intercontinental title is on the line, he will outperform him. Not a bad show, but not a great show at the same time. Just a bit of a in-between show there, nothing above an 85, but some good stuff, though, with Moxley's performance and Tamura's performance as well, and with Daniel Makabe getting a win as well. So yeah, Mox, we'll put him over. We'll put over Cody Umeda as well, because yeah, he was fantastic in his matchup. And trying to think, I guess Tamura seems to be the one that makes the most sense. And just like that, we're down to 2. As far as on the days 19 and 20, then we'll take a look at the standings, and then that will do it for this first part. Alrighty, day 19, we are back in the Osaka-jo Hall Arena for this one as our opening contest. It's actually a singles Joshi matchup as Utami Hayashishita is beating Konami here with the Samoan drop in 20 minutes. Big win for Utami Hayashishita, as of course, coming off of a losing effort against Io Shirai. But as far as in our previous encounter for the women's title. So looking to get some wins back and maybe potentially get another shot at the belt. Because, I mean, fucking right now, Io Shirai is just running through that division. Juice Robinson and Kenta, we knew this was going to be a tactical, or as far as we knew this was going to have awkward chemistry, so we went with just a Steel Show matchup. Kenta getting the win though with a go to sleep. I was hoping it'd kind of be like a crazy Busaiku knee to the back of the head, but we'll take that with a go to sleep. Either way though, 2 points for Kenta. Dominic Greeny and Will Hobbs, as Hobbs gets the win with the spine buster over Greeny. It's actually a pretty good match. It was kind of impressive that Greeny's doing as well as he is, finally. After years and years of trying, I think he's finally actually a really good performer for us. And Greeny almost injured him, though, so that would have been great. Oh, no, actually, yeah, as Will Hobbs actually almost injured him. Never mind. So, yeah, he wasn't even the one that almost caused the botch. As Roosh getting the win with the Lalanza over Levi Mir. Big win for Roosh. Just a tough break for Levi Mir, though, with another loss. And then Daichi Hashimoto beats Brody King. I would like to say this is like a turnbuckle-assisted vertical drop brainbuster, or maybe Brody King's trying to get something going off the top rope, like off the maybe even the middle rope, maybe like a choke slam off of it, but Hashimoto counters it and hits a vertical drop brainbuster off of the using Brody King, who's already on the buckle, just to kind of help him out. Because, I mean, that is a big dude to be picking up and doing a vertical drop brainbuster like that, to do it safely, as far as from that regard. As safely as you can with something like that when you're dumping somebody on their head like this. But what a win, though, for Hashimoto. He has been just incredible. And what a main event, though. La Sombra and Rey Fenix, and it needs more than 30, is a 99 for that matchup, and a hell of a matchup, though. I mean, if Rey Fenix is just a little bit better, this might have been the 100. Might have gotten it, but unfortunate for us, we don't. But just a really, really good show, though, here for Block C. And obviously, with Sombra and Rey Fenix, 1 point for each man. Daichi Hashimoto with a big 2 points, beating Brody King. And obviously, we would put over Sombra and Rey Fenix. And I think we'll put over Roosh as well. The fucking luchadors, man. They are just on fire. Incredible stuff. Incredible shit. As now we're down to our final show. For part 1, we'll take a look at the standings after we run day 20, and we'll see how everybody's shaped up after basically, as far as with going 5 shows in now for each block. Pretty awesome to think we are just over the halfway point, just like that. And now, as far as to just see if nobody gets hurt also after the end out our first part, that would be fantastic. I think we can actually almost come through almost unscathed with this, so that's just great to see. So yeah, on to day 20, here we go. Alrighty, we end out part 1 with a, as far as at the Mazda Stadium in Hiroshima, as 21,000 people in attendance for this one, as Tomoya Tom Ford and Baroni Yamamura of Desires of Perfection beating the Katsuya Kitamura Samoa Joe team, with Tomoya Tom Ford getting a sliding lariat win over Kitamura. Obviously, Kitamura, he's been in rehab, he's not doing so hot, he's coming off of being rusty here, so obviously we knew he wasn't going to go over so well as far as performance-wise, hence why we had him lose. Good win, though, for Tomoya Tom Ford, and a good performance, actually, from Baroni Yamamura, as well as our first matchup for the block matches, as far as Alex Coughlin beating Katsuhiko Nakajima, the deadlift German suplex. Big win and a big upset over Katsuhiko Nakajima there. For Alex Coughlin, next matchup, Sonata beating Donovan Dijak with the Browning body press. It's be a fun match, though. Again, Dijak, a healthy 100% Dijak, he's, especially, like, I would say probably 10 years ago, unfortunately, though, like around 2014, 2016, he would have been an interesting G1 guy. Just for his size, what he could do athletically, bit of a problem, for sure, out there. And Pac and Strickland here, we knew that they did not have chemistry. And what a win, though, for Shane Strickland. To get a win off the roll-up. Basically, roll-up with the tights pulled and feet on the rope. So, Pac's trying to get something going out of the buckle. Strickland counters it with a roll-up. And, obviously, hooks the tights plus feet on the ropes, too. So, really, just a real piece of shit way of stealing 2 points. We knew that it was going to be a good, as far as matchup with the awkward chemistry. So figured have something like this, a shock finish out of nowhere, plus him being a piece of shit as well and stealing 2 points from Pac. And that really is going to shake up the block as well. Next matchup, though, what a co-main. Ricochet beating Falter with a 630. Hell of a performance from Ricochet there. And a hell of a matchup, for sure. But somehow, someway, the main event even outperforms it as Chaz Gable beats Hiromu Takahashi here in 28 minutes. What a win. And what a main event for Block D. And again, another fucking Hiromu matchup with lack of psychology. 3 matches were in the 90s. We gotta put over Sonata. I feel like we gotta put over Ricochet. And honestly, we might as well even put over Chaz Gable as well. What a show. And now, we have made it through part 1. 20 shows have come and gone. And now we can look at the standings to see where we're at going into part 2. And boy, oh boy, it's going to be pretty stacked. I think how this is stacking up to be. Block D has been incredible to see. So much great talent. A lot of guys having their first G1s. And Ricochet's been fantastic in his first outing. We've seen Daichi Hashimoto do really well in his block. As far as, and we'll go through the block standings as Block A being led by the heavyweight champion in Tyler Black, but also obviously tied with Zack Sabre Jr. The tiebreaker loss to Jay White's interesting, though, to see. Once that matchup takes place between Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr., that's really going to decide who is going to the finals, potentially. Of course, Konosuke Takeshita, his one loss is to Tyler Black, so that tiebreaker loss is definitely going to be a factor for him. Fujinami, though, 0 points. Tough break after 5 nights of action for him. Tough break there. A lot of, it's still very, very close. Pentagon Jr. with 6 points might be a dark horse, a guy that might make a run. He's lost to Zack Sabre Jr., but if he can beat Tyler Black, who knows? A lot of things can happen for him, falling to his way as far as being able to potentially lead his block. Jon Moxley hasn't lost yet. He's got the one draw with Tamura, and hasn't lost those since. Him and Kota Yamada haven't faced off, and of course, Yamada is, or no, they have faced off, never mind, as I was thinking they had, but no, they have. So yeah, he's got the tiebreaker win over the guy who's in second, too. And of course, him and Tamura's got the draw, so if that ends up being a factor, that will definitely be interesting, because they'll have to do another tiebreaker to determine who's going on to the semifinals to face the winner of Block A. But it's kind of crazy that Okada and Keith Lee with 2 points each, as, and of course, they just faced off rather soon enough, as far as with, obviously, Keith Lee getting his first win, but Okada beating Makabe, too, and Makabe having his 2 wins be Heiao Tamura and Yota Tsuji. Kind of wild to think he's got an Intercontinental title matchup, and the only guy who's beaten Tamura so far. Hook, as well, has got 4 points. And interesting enough, of course, he's beaten Okada and Keith Lee, so he's only beaten the guys that are kind of below him. It's going to be an interesting block. There's still a lot of room left to see how it all plays out, but it's Moxley's to lose right now. For Block C, Daichi Hashimoto, Rush, and Will Hobbs tied. Unreal that La Sombra, with his one loss to Will Hobbs, is really fucking him over here. Hashimoto's lost to Rush, so he's got a tiebreaker loss. And then for Will Hobbs, he has, as far as he's lost to Rush, or no, he's rather, Will Hobbs has beaten Rush, but he's lost to Ray Phoenix. So right now, a tiebreaker-wise, it's really going to come down to a matchup between Hashimoto and Will Hobbs, as far as who's potentially making it out of Block C, because obviously Hobbs with the tiebreaker win over Rush, and also Hashimoto already lost to Rush. That's going to be an interesting finals, as far as how that's going to play out, because obviously Sombra as well, he hasn't fought Rush yet, and that's going to be a hell of a matchup. He also hasn't fought Hashimoto either yet, so still has a chance to make a run for winning the block, but man, that's a hell of a block, though. So much talent in there. Levi Mir with no points is very, very tough, though. He's just in a super tough block. A lot of former heavyweight champions and a lot of talent involved in that block. And for Block D, Pac, so far, was going on an undefeated run until he lost to Shane Strickland right now, but he is leading the block. Hiromu and Sonata with 7 points each. Of course, they have the draw with each other as well. As far as Gable with 6 points, Ricochet with 6 points, Walter with 6 points as well. Again, it's just crazy to think that somebody like a Shane Strickland or a Katsuhiko Nakajima, they've beaten as far as Nakajima and Coughlin, Coughlin's beaten Nakajima, and There's only been 2 guys in the 40 participants that don't have a point yet, and it's Fujinami, of course, in Block A, and for as far as with Block C, with Levi Mir. But everybody else has gotten wins. Shows you how deep this talent pool is. Also, kind of crazy that no one's reached double-digit points yet either. Shows you again how deep this block has been, because nobody has went undefeated. There has at least been a draw. I guess you could say that they've haven't won all their matches. I guess I should say, instead of them being undefeated, they have not had a clean sweep with nothing but wins throughout. So again, just shows you how stacked this block is. Block D, C, B, A, all of them, very, very stacked. And I am super, super pleased with how it's all played out. No injuries. It's been great. It's been a great first part of this G1, and now we go to, as far as next week, we'll be seeing the rest of this G1 Climax, and we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see who's making it out of each block, who's making it to the semifinals, and of course, the finals itself, which should be a hell of a show. And we will catch you guys there. Take care, everyone.